Hello, and welcome to my course on how to build community by me, salesperson at Keller Williams Legacies Realty, Casey and Bradfield. Now, I'm a real estate agent, yes, but I care most about the community and how we build it. And I think that is the piece that we need to focus on now in the midst of the 2022 pandemic or post pandemic, if we want to call it that. And in an era where inflation is super, super high and things are getting expensive, we need each other now more than ever. So, how do we build community? The way I see it, there's four components to building community: caring about others and communicating that, pooling our resources, being accountable to one another, sharing space together, and holding space. Okay, caring about others. This is going to be a quick way for you to show that you care about others. Checking in. Bottom line is, checking in feels good. We may not always have the capacity to check in, and that's okay. But if you have a little bit of extra energy, let's check in with one another to make sure we're on the same page and we're doing well. So, here are some questions that you can use to check in with others. What's bringing you joy lately? What have you been cooking, watching, reading lately? What are your passions? What are you currently pursuing? What's been on your mind most lately? What are you working on? What's new and exciting? Or if you have other ways that you check in, feel free to email me, DM me at affordable_ownership, and let me know how you check in with others. How do you check in with yourself? Here are some questions I'd like you to ask yourself. How often have you checked in with yourself? Are you checking in with yourself? How do you see yourself right now? What do you want to change in your life? And what do you want to keep and enhance in your life? For myself right now, I'm a new mom. I just, 6 months, my baby is 6 months now. And I see myself as a person who is growing in transition and really defining the new joy in her life under the context of being a mom and trying to figure it all out. And that's okay. I'm growing in transition. And what I would want to change in my life is just have more stability and more time to continue to do the work that brings me peace. Build a routine around my own happiness so that I can be even better as a mom. And what I'd like to keep and enhance in my life are the people around me that really support me and bring me joy and enhance the abundance in my life. So for yourself, you can do this exercise for you, and I hope that it makes a huge difference. Now, I'd like you to take 2 minutes to check in with someone you've been meaning to check in with. That could be a friend, it could be a family member, it could be a work colleague, anyone that's crossed your mind and you were like, I wonder how they're doing. Take 2 minutes to check in with them. It's often not a coincidence that we're thinking about people. So let's take the time to actually reach out. Pooling resources. Okay, so I have a really awesome community. I'm really grateful for them. And my friends and I, when we get together, we often share things with each other, like food. We have dinners together. We share time. We share wisdom. We share opportunities. We share resources. We share laughter. We even share the childcare responsibilities with one another. What is it that you have been sharing with others? Because, like I said, right now we're in a difficult time, and anything that you can share with others will make a big impact on their lives and can potentially strengthen your community as a whole. So it's really important to share right now. And you may feel like you don't have enough. You may feel like you don't have anything to give, but there's often something that you can give, even if it's not really big. And as you continue to grow on your sharing, eventually you get to the point where you might say, look, I want to enhance my wealth, and maybe doing it on my own or with my partner isn't enough or isn't growing fast enough. But there are ways that you can build your wealth in an exponential way by sharing with friends and sharing with family members, and pooling your wealth together as a group. The way me and my friends do it is we have a partner where it basically helps us save money as a group, and we distribute the saved money to each member of the group. And that allows us to just put down and pay off things faster and save faster. The next thing that we've done is we had a joint account for all of our friends each month, and the intention behind the joint account was to start investing as a group once the amount got to a certain stage. So once we saved up $5,000 as a group. We put that $5,000 into something that we think is worthwhile, or maybe we want to wait. If you want to wait with your friends, so 10,000 or 20,000, that option is there as well, and you can put that towards a down payment on a house, or starting a business, or developing a product, or buying stocks, whatever investment vehicle you feel works for you and your community. Yes, so I'd like you to discuss what group investments you have, or how you share with your group, and how you can maybe further that and take it to the next level to benefit not only you but everyone in your community. Next, being accountable. How do you be accountable? Okay, so I've identified three ways in which I try and be accountable to my community. So, by having shared values, we know we're on the same page. Perhaps we're all about honesty, we're all about love, we're all about fairness and togetherness. And as long as we've defined our values and we're all in the confines of that, we know we're moving together on the same page. Sometimes there might be paradigms that get in our way that stop us from really truly believing, and moving together. For instance, you might believe that having a community is too tough because getting along with people is not your forte. If that's what you believe, working through and building a community is going to be tough for you at all times until you shift that thought and you say something else like, making friends is really easy for me, being in a community is really great, and I get along well with others. Okay, how do you resolve challenges within the community? This is a big one. Some people avoid communities and friendships because they don't know how to resolve challenges with one another. My friends and I, we have an ash ceremony where we all sit together in a group and we talk about the issue at hand. And the two main people who have the problem, or two or more, discuss their perspectives. We all listen and offer, any support and love and advice, or, ask thought provoking questions where needed until a resolution can be found. I find that holding each other accountable as a group really helps because you're not alone to your own ego and your own thoughts. If there's more people chiming in, which makes it a little bit better, I think, to deal with. And then how do you communicate those challenges with one another? I think the key here is to have brave communication that leads with love, and you have grace for that other person, and you know, some you give them some moments. You give them a chance. Not everyone's perfect all the time. So being brave, leading with love, and having grace for them, is going to enable you to have better communication when challenges arise, because things are going to go wrong. We're different people in different bodies with different human experiences, and they're not always going to go right. But if you are brave in your communication and you can tell someone when someone's bothering you or something's bothering you, it will, um, grow you, all of you, in the end, especially if you do it with love and not spite, because some people can take these things really personally when you bring things to them. So just be careful in the way you communicate and understand no one's perfect. And that's how we can move through challenges in our community. So there was a couple that I added in the end, and that was a holding space and sharing space. So, just briefly, I'll talk about sharing space. Sharing space is just being in the same room together with the people that you love and care about, with your community. Holding events, that's going to be important. If you don't have a location to hold events, I would suggest going outside, organizing beach trips, organizing walks. You can use meetup.com or Eventbrite to organize something like that that's fairly simple to meet new people. You can have an online community on Facebook, perhaps, that you have conversations. But I would say sharing physical space, especially after a pandemic, is going to be really important for people to feel loved and maybe feel less depressed in their lives. So I encourage you to meet up with people in a safe way that you're comfortable with. Lastly, holding space. Holding space is the most important in many, many, many times because we might, especially when we get into conflicts with our community members or our friends or family, we might want to dismiss them and blame them and get angry. And it's, it happens. It happens for me. But there are those moments where you say, you know what? I could walk away from this person forever and feel completely gratified and vindicated. Or I could say, you know what? This is a human being going through something right now, and I'm not going to take it personally. And so when you come with that mindset and you hold that space for that person to have a bad day, you allow that person to grow with you. You allow that person to develop a bond with you that transcends the moment and that accounts for their whole entire being and experience. So it's just another layer of loving someone that we can't do if we keep dismissing people every time they make a mistake. So I encourage you to hold some space for people. Don't let them take advantage of you if it happens over and over again, that person isn't making enough effort. And it might be worthwhile for you to not no longer associate with that person. But if it's a one-time thing, or you can see that that person's really trying, it is worthwhile to hold some space. All right, guys, I wanted this to be short and sweet. Thank you so much for listening to my How to Build Community course. I hope it's offered you something that you can really take back and grow and learn from. At the end of the day, I think building community, living in spaces, it's all so that we can raise healthy families and we can support one another on this planet because that's the beauty of life. It's in community and in love. And that's what I want to bring to everything that I do. So thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you so much for listening and have a wonderful day.